morning, everybody. Happy Monday night. Welcome back to the Comedy Doctors, the show where you give us your problems, your gripes, your pet peeves, and we in turn will give you awful, terrible, insanely funny advice. I am your host, Frank Licari. How you doing, everybody? Welcome back from a 4-day COVID Thanksgiving. I hope you guys all had fun doing nothing with no one and stayed really safe and ate yourselves into oblivion. What an incredible time we had this past weekend. This is the first time in our history, at least that I could remember, where these kind of holidays have been in seclusion and it's a little crazy. But you know what? Tonight, we are going to make you laugh. We have an incredible panel of comedy doctors for you this evening. But before we get to them, let me remind you that this show does not exist without your help, which means everybody right now has problems. We've all got things we want to work on. We've all got things we're complaining about. Instead of keeping it in or sending it off to your family and friends and possibly losing friendships and relationships over it, give it to us right now. Put it in the comments. Send in your emails, whatever you got, and we will take care of all your problems. Does that make sense? Is everybody good with that? Perfect. Why don't I start? Did I give you my name? I'm Frank, by the way. I'm hosting again tonight. And thank you for joining us over and over and over again. We appreciate it. Let's meet our first guest tonight. You've seen him on The Tonight Show, in the movie Pizza with Bullets, on Becker. You've seen him on Comics Unleashed. Please welcome my good friend Mike Marino is with us tonight. What's up, Mike?
Hey, man, thank you so much for having me on the show. This is fantastic.
Let me tell you what. It's always great to see your face. I know it's going to be a good time. You look fantastic for somebody
all
that's
right.
Yes, you battled the Rona, didn't you? You battled
I had it.
like a champ.
Jacked my ass up, man. I felt like an elephant was sitting on my chest for 2 weeks.
It's I'll tell you what, it's no joke. No joke, but you battled it and you look great. You made it through. I was following you on your socials.
Yeah.
And man, oh man, you put some videos up. I wasn't used to seeing you like that, man. I got to tell you, you were usually pretty strong, and you were looking for a little couple days there. You were looking pretty weak, so it's great to see you back, man.
I had to put the truth out on the internet just in case people came to a show and wanted to kill me or something, you know?
Yeah.
So they wanted to sue me. It was all my fault. So I said, hey, don't come near me. I'm not doing nothing for a month.
Yeah.
And I wasn't doing anything anyway. So I quarantined, took the medication, and I nursed myself back to health. And then I went and had the follow-up visit. So now I have the antibodies.
All right, good. Spread some of those around to everybody here. Was it as bad as everybody says it is to get it?
I heard there's a lot of different people that get different strains of it.
Right.
I never had a fever.
Okay.
But I had aches and pains, like I had the flu, I had the chills. The biggest problem was coughing like a maniac. I never coughed like that, just an unbelievable coughing that you can't control. And I lost my sense of smell and my sense of taste.
Yeah, that seems to be what everybody, no matter what, everybody goes through that hacking cough, the smell, and that's it. Well, listen, glad it's over. Great to see you.
I'll tell you this, though. Yeah. Everybody should know this. My body was telling me what to do because I was craving fruit, and I don't like fruit.
Wow.
And every day and every night, I had to have watermelon and peaches. And I remember asking the doctor, why do I want watermelon? And it has to be really, really cold and fresh. He said, you're overwhelmingly dehydrated, and the sensation of the watermelon and the sensation of the peaches, even grapes, was making me feel good.
Wow, look at that. Well, you became now at least you have an appreciation for fruit now. That's a good thing.
I'm back to eating donuts.
Okay, good. I was going to say.
Right. But you know what? It's the craziest thing because he even said to me, it's like when a woman's pregnant, she wants ice cream and pickles. I was running to health food stores to get this fruit.
Wow.
And I think it really helped me out a lot.
Well, I don't care what you did. I'm glad to see you back. You look great, and it's great to have you, man. Hang tight while I introduce our second guest for tonight. You've seen him in Groundhog Day, in the movie Gung Ho, on The Office, and on Veep. Please welcome Rick Overton, everybody. Rick, what's up, man? How are you?
Wow. Happy post-bird day.
Thank you. How was your bird day, Rick? How was it?
Simple.
Yeah.
And it's slow. It's happy Zoom's giving.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Now, you're out in SoCal, right? You're out in Southern California?
Right.
What's life like out there right now? I heard today they're doing some more shutdowns. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're shutting down all humor now.
Yeah, good.
COVID, you're gonna lose your sense of humor too.
Is that what it is? Maybe okay.
Shutting
Maybe
everything.
I have it.
So they're closing anything. Any attempt at funny is gonna get shut down.
Wow. All right. Well,
really helps.
Let's hope that doesn't affect the show tonight. We'll bring as much funny as we can. All right. Well, hang tight. Let's introduce our third guest tonight. You've seen him on Last Call with Carson Daly, Last Comic Standing, Comedy Central Presents, Gotham Comedy Live. Oh, my goodness. Welcome, Louis Ramsey. What's up, Ramey? Sorry, I called you Ramsey. My bad. Louis Ramey, what's up, brother? How are you?
I'm doing great. You only had one thing to do.
You're right. You know what? Listen. To my defense, I'm not a smart guy. I have no idea how I got this job. This was, I want you to know I'm the third host of this show. Okay.
Wow.
I only took it because two other people didn't want it anymore. So what do you want from me? I'm just reading things. Okay, Louis?
I understand.
Now, it's only partially true. The only true part of that thing was that I'm not very bright. But truth be told, let's talk about what you said before, because this is weird to me. You're in Atlanta.
Yes.
Right? I'm in New Jersey, formerly a Canadian, and it's snowing in Atlanta. How do we explain this, Louis? What is happening in the world?
Well, it's 2020. Let's face it. This is the prequel to The Walking Dead. So everything is possible at this point.
Which is where they filmed it, right? They filmed it at
Yes.
Yeah.
So we're just waiting for the vaccine to start, bringing the undead back, and then
it's just brutal, man.
And it's snowing, so no one knows what to do now. People are just like, "Oh my goodness, the sky's falling."
Yeah. Crazy. It's so great when you're used to. I remember because I lived in Florida for a while, and it's always so funny to see like it dip into the 50s and everybody just freak the fuck out. It's amazing. It's amazing coming from Canada where the 50s is like a balmy summer. Well, it's great to have you. I'm sorry I screwed your name up. I'll make it up to you throughout this entire show. I'll just give you more airtime than the other guys. I apologize. Okay. Are you guys ready to help people?
Absolutely.
They need so much help. Let's do this. Let's start with our first problem, or as they say, gripe. Let's see. Oh, Axel. Wow, that's a name you don't hear much. Axel from Lexington, Kentucky says, I hate it when my Aunt Mary visits. She finds everything wrong with everything. She says the house is dirty, the food isn't cooked right, the TV has a funny color, and my hairstyle is wrong for my head. She's a divorcee and her two sons are in prison. Should I use those facts as ammunition to shut her up? Wow, that is a loaded one. So Aunt Mary hates everything about Axel, and she's had some skeletons in her closet. Should he mention it to Aunt Mary to put her in her place, or do we leave poor Aunt Mary alone because she's got relatives in prison? Mike, you ever been in prison, Mike?
Why are you asking me that?
Well, the Jersey thing, first of all, because you're actually from Jersey.
Yeah.
So I think you're always got at least 1 foot closer than most people.
I'm Italian. I'm from New Jersey. Got 1 foot in jail.
Right? I mean, you're close as anybody. If they were to come on this show right now and pick one of us that probably done some time, if you tell them you're an Italian from Jersey, you've probably been up the river. But
I can tell you this: I know some people who are in prison.
Right, I'm sure you do. So what do you do here if you're Axel? Do you give it to Aunt Mary, or do you leave her alone? Poor Aunt Mary. What do you do here? What's the problem?
Well, if Aunt Mary's on his side of the family, maybe you don't say nothing. But what if it's the in-law, like it's his wife's relative, That's
Right.
when you say to yourself, how much do you really love your wife? Because if it's really not that great of a relationship, you say, hey, Aunt Mary, not for nothing, 2 of your kids got caught. They're busted. I never got caught.
Interesting. So you'd use this as a ploy to be able to get out of your marriage if you're not in a happy marriage.
Well, I
That's
didn't say
interesting.
that, but if that's what happens, it works.
Well, if you're not in a great marriage and you don't care what your wife's going to say and what Aunt Mary and her are going to talk about, then yeah, maybe it's a great way to get a little turmoil happening. And
There's always a married man who can't really say what he wants to say without playing chess.
right,
And that probably sucks.
yeah,
I'm an
it does.
unmarried guy. I say what I want and nobody gets mad at me. And if
Right.
they do, good, get out of my house. You're not my aunt.
Yes, yes. Well, listen, you make a good point, man. I think that especially when you're talking about the in-laws, it's always a precarious situation, and sometimes we need a little turmoil in our lives. And if you don't love your wife much, it's a good place to start with it. Rick, I assume you've never been in prison. Do you know anybody that's been in prison?
Yeah,
No.
yeah, I do.
You do?
Yeah, they're all doing very well now.
Is that right?
Oh yeah, done great in comedy.
I'm sure. I'm sure. So what do you do? What do you tell Axel here?
Well, no one's asked Mary why she's so unhappy. Mary, yes, I know you want it. I know the food does suck, and yes, her hair is fucked up. Yes, everything you're saying is true, but Mary, why are you there then?
Right.
You need, Mary, you need to take a look in the mirror and you need to ask yourself why you have not gotten yourself a dancing bear male prostitute.
You just went Dr. Phil on me. I love that.
Yes, I'm Dr. Phil. I'm Dr. Time Phil. I'm just filling time. I have no idea what to tell you about this except eject like a James Bond film. But cut and run. There's no fixing this, but I don't want to put that out as a message. So let's look into what makes Mary so unhappy.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. That's a good point. Mind your business, Mary. Right? Mind your damn business. If I want to color my hair, who gives a shit? Right? Don't come over the house. You with me on that one, Lewis?
Well, I say it's family, and family's important.
Oh,
where does
yeah.
Mary live? Does Mary live in a nice house? Think of this: inheritance. You don't want to be sitting at the funeral going, "Man, I wish I was nicer to Mary." No, Mary's got property. Mary's got some valuables. Mary's old. Come on,
man.
Also, I say this: if Mary's complaining, just do drugs. Just ignore her. Just ignore her. Be in a cloud. Do a little tequila before she shows up. It'll actually turn out to be funny.
You know what? There's always room for getting completely blitzed whenever the in-laws are coming over. That's not a bad idea.
And
That's
then
not
use
a bad
her kids as a distraction. Every time she says, "This house looks like crap," just go, "Well, how's Bubba and Skeeter? How are they doing? How are they getting by right now?"
Why would you assume her kids are named Bubba and Skeeter? That's
No. It doesn't matter what their names are. Forever, she will be correcting you. No, it's Mark and Larry.
That's
I'm
right.
Sorry. Bubba.
All right, this is good. So the solutions are, Axel, do drugs. Just completely forget about it, right? Just like get blitzed before she comes over. Who cares? Mike told us, hey, use it. If you're unhappy in the marriage, maybe this is a good opportunity to dig a little bit and let the sparks fly. And Dr. Phil, Rick said, what's wrong with you, Mary? Why are you so unhappy? And that's a question we can't answer because we don't know Aunt Mary. But maybe that's a question that Axel could pose to her. And I'm sure that would go really, really well during the holidays. Well, nice work, guys. You earned your stripes. Very good. Good job. First one out of the gate. We're getting ourselves loosened up here. This is wonderful. All right, let's move on and see if we can help another person. Oh, look at this. We got a Floridian, Cole from Cape Coral. I have nearly a dozen first cousins. Wow. And out of all of them, I'm the only one who isn't engaged or married. This one's going to go right to Mike. I personally don't care, but I never hear the end of it at family functions. I have a family reunion coming up. I was contemplating getting a high-end escort to accompany me to my cousin Anita's wedding. Thoughts? Wow. So Cole, dozen cousins, they're all married. He's the only one that's not hitched. He's contemplating getting an escort to take to presumably his relative Anita's wedding. Rick, you ever do the escort thing, Rick?
Well, on my budget, it's always the, lower end escort that I wind up taking to all the events.
Right.
They're not fully into the same rehearsal scheme I had worked out in the car.
Right.
They're on the phone a lot, setting other situations up, and oh man, once they get drunk, the truth comes out.
So it sounds like
I've never been there, of course. I have no idea.
No, that's right. That was all speculation and hypothetical. But are you advocating then that Cole should get the escort, or should Cole be
hire locally? I think it's important to keep people in the area, employed.
So
whoever's nearest to you at the time.
Gotcha. All right. So there you go, Cole. Rick's telling you not only do the escort, but make sure you give back to your community by hiring locally and supporting the small business owner. Way to go. Thank you, Rick. Louis, what do you think of this whole thing? What do you think of the escort not being married? You married, Louis?
No, I'm not married. And
Okay.
Let's face facts. Let's be honest with each other. Escort is just a fancy way of saying hooker. So
Right.
yeah, I don't think taking a hooker to a wedding is a good idea. Here's the thing. I don't know how old she is, but or he is. But
Yep.
just remember this: in 3 years, all your relatives will then be complaining about their exes. Nothing lasts forever.
You took the words right out of my mouth. Here I was, exactly what I was going to say, man. He is going to be the one person that they're all going to want to talk to and go, how is it, man? Oh, tell me how it was. You went out Friday night. How was it? Did you get to go to the game? All that stuff is what they're going to be hoping that they could be. You're absolutely right.
So you bought
Absolutely
a house 15 years ago and you still own it? Wow. How'd you do that?
It's incredible. That's a good point, man. Mike, as the most eligible bachelor that I know, tell me, what do you think about this? I know what you're going to say, but tell me, what do you think of Cole?
I'm glad you said the word bachelor, because that'll start me off right there. There's a big difference between a bachelor and a single guy.
Oh,
A single guy is single because he has to be. A bachelor is single because he wants to be.
wow.
So, Cole, you are a bachelor. And in the eyes of all your relatives, they're really just jealous that they can't have your life. So they make it look like their lives are fantastic and marriage is the greatest thing. But under their breath, they're looking at you like, you son of a bitch, get me out of here. Now, do I agree with the high-end hooker? Yes, I do. Because if you got some extra cash and you could find yourself a high-end call girl or whatever you
Right.
want to call it that looks fantastic and speaks okay, and you get a little action when the night is over, get that. Because all your relatives are going to look at you and wonder, why did you leave the wedding early? And you
Right.
turn around and go, because I want to get to it when I want it.
Right. And
Bachelor.
let me reiterate that Mike is advocating high end, and she needs to talk just okay. You got to make
Okay.
sure that is the bar that you are looking for. She needs to speak just okay, but make sure she's high end. I
we
like
don't-
that.
We don't want to get it caught, like it's not the right. What if she's at an Italian wedding and somebody says, hey, you want some gabagool? She goes, what's
Right.
that? We're
Right.
all in trouble.
Right, that's right. So make sure she's high end and she can speak. That's what we want to make sure she's got that
A
skill.
little.
Okay. Just okay.
Gabagool is excellent.
Gabagool. That's right. I'm sure there's many high-end hookers, I'm sorry, escorts who know exactly what gabagool is outside of New Jersey.
That's right. He's in Florida. They get it.
Oh, sure. Yeah. All right. Good one. Nice, man, guys. Really, really doing yeoman's work here. You guys are really killing it. Very nice. So you heard it, Cole. I think two of us are saying the hooker's okay. So I guess go with the hooker, right? We got a majority rule on that one. I think we're good.
Hooker's rule.
Hooker's rule. If you can do it, why not? Stay a bachelor, not a single guy. Nice work. All right, good. Let's see what else we got on tap for this evening. Man, these are long. All right, Alice from Grand Rapids, Michigan. Look at this. My neighbors were having a cookout yesterday and were loud as hell. I asked them to be quiet, and our conversation got a little out of control. Then the other neighbors were fixing their car in the parking lot, which violates our housing association rules. So I reprimanded them, and that conversation also got very much out of control. Am I a bitch for trying to preserve law and order? Boy, oh boy, Alice. Grand Rapids, Michigan. I have the answer, Lewis, but I'm going to let you start. Go ahead.
Okay, I got the perfect answer.
Yeah.
Duh.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, Karen. Why don't you go home and relax?
Yeah.
Yeah. Parties are loud. Cars break down. You know, you're not the police. You know, I say get over it. Move on.
Yeah.
Life's too short.
Yeah. Like I don't know, shut the hell up, Alice.
Yes.
You know, maybe that's the advice. I don't know. Rick, what do you think about that? I mean, obviously, you live in SoCal. Do you live in an apartment, Rick? Do you have a lot of neighbors? Or you live in a house?
Your neighbors, yeah. I have neighbors, and they're very nice, very cool people. But, you know, I think we need to find a healthy outlet for control freaks.
Right.
How about getting into traffic and just start directing traffic?
Right.
Now you're helpful all of a sudden. Get down to the airport with a couple of ping pong paddles and start wagging them as to which way the plane ought to go. And just take it on yourself to do that. Become useful again. There's every negative trait has a positive upside somewhere. And as long as they're off your fucking back, I say that's the way to go.
Man, Rick, you have got a psychology degree. You are a fantastic. You spin that yarn. You almost seem like you're really trying to help people. It's really, really noble of you.
Almost. Maybe a little bit.
Mike, what do you say to that? Come on. Can you imagine? I'll give it to you, Mike. You're sitting at home at your own barbecue, right? In Scotch Plains, and somebody tells you you're too loud. What are you doing about that?
Well, I guess the question is, how much do I like this person?
Right.
There's a neighbor, right?
Yeah.
You want to get along with the neighbor?
Yeah.
I'd say to him, listen, first of all, we're not too loud. Second of all, if you would like to come to the party, you're more than welcome to come to the party. If I have to have this conversation with you more than once, you'll never go to a party again. Now, did you want a hot dog or a hamburger?
I know you're joking, but that is very. Doesn't he sound like that's exactly what he would do? Like coming out of your mouth, it is exactly the right answer. Absolutely. Come over, or it's the last party you're ever going to get invited to.
And let me tell you something. When I was younger, we used to throw big parties. The first thing we did was tell everybody in the neighborhood they're welcome to come. So it kept them from keeping their mouth shut if we got too loud.
Right.
Now I live in a neighborhood where there's every culture you can think of. And there's a guy over here. He's Puerto Rican. He has these big parties and he plays the music really, really loud. You know what I say to him? Can I come?
Right.
And I go to the party. I'm never going to complain. Then the people over here, they're older. They play Sinatra and stuff like that. And when they have a party, I say, can you make the music louder? I can't hear it.
Right. Exactly.
There's always a way to get along with people.
No, but I love your tactic because that's very Italian of you to invite the entire neighborhood. That way, when they want to complain, they feel so guilty. You give them the Italian Catholic guilt, and they never want to call because they feel bad. Well, they invited us. but it's all a ploy. It's very, very
We had a
Italian.
big party one time. Everybody was in the yard laughing, joking, having a good time. And the wife called the cops. The lady next door called the cops. And she's like, "Where's my husband?" I'm like, "He's at the party having a good time. You just called the cops on your husband."
Is that true? That's your story?
Yeah, because the noise ordinance was after 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
And
That's
she's
so
like, "It's
funny.
after 10 o'clock. I'm like, "Yeah, but your husband's here."
And well, what does that tell you about that relationship? She didn't even know where her husband was. Look at that. After 10 o'clock. You should know where your spouse is at that hour of the night, don't you think? Well,
Yeah,
none of you
well,
guys are married, right? You guys
Correct.
married? Anybody?
Yeah, that sounds ridiculous, what you just said.
Yeah.
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 I got it on tape, too.
Somebody needs to know where I am. What am I, 12?
Listen, I'm married and I tell my wife every place I go at all times. As a matter of fact, I don't know if you know this, but you probably have no use for this, but there is an app and it's called Life 360. Do you know about this app? Obviously developed
Yes.
by the Chinese. Okay. Here's what it does in case you don't know about it, Rick. You give the app and you sign up with your entire family. Now listen to this. Get this one. Your wife can GPS you no matter where you are and know exactly where you are and at what speed you're moving. Now, vice versa, I know in turn the same thing with her. I think it was developed as a spy, right? As a spy app. And they said, you know what? This would be great for families to give all of their information. And so they know exactly where you are. Now, I turned it off, not because of my wife or my kid knowing where I'm at, just because that stuff scares the shit out of me, right? To know exactly, like at any time they can ping your phone. But I guess they probably know that anyway. But there is apps that'll do that. So that's what married life is like. You need to tell.
Does it also register on your burner phone?
Oh, that I don't know. I haven't tried it yet, but I haven't tried the burner. Yeah, I don't download apps on the burner phone. But no, but it's helpful because if you got a kid, which I do, you kind of know where they are. But vice versa, it's a little creepy.
Scary.
It's a little creepy.
Faraday bag.
What's that?
You know how to make a Faraday bag?
How? What's a Faraday bag?
Faraday bag blocks all signals.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Faraday cage. It stops anything from going in or out.
Wow. You know what? That makes sense coming from you, Rick. You look like you're in a bunker right now. Where are you? Where are you coming from?
Can't you tell I'm in my luxurious estate? The crackling fireplace over here, and oh, there goes one of my horses. I can't remember all their names. You don't see anything, do you? That cheap piece of shit app. That's why it's free.
Yeah. Well, listen. Another wonderful example of your work, you three. Good job. We're already a half hour through the program. How easy is this job? If being a doctor was this easy, wouldn't you sign up?
Yeah.
Right?
How long does it take to pay off my student loan?
Well, it depends how good of a... Look, that's a true... Listen, there's a true thing. There are a lot of broke doctors out there, but I think they are the C students, because here's what they don't tell you, right? At medical school, you graduate, right? But you can graduate as a C or as an A, and we don't know which doctor has an A or a C.
Right.
That's a big problem.
A restaurant is more honest than they are.
That's right. That's exactly right. They don't have to put it on their door. So you just slipped by and you became a doctor and you're operating on me. Where's the A doctor? That's the question I've always had. But that's for another day, guys. We're not real, right? We're supposed to tell everybody we're not real doctors, as if you can't tell by watching this broadcast. But yes, we are not real doctors. That is. Great job.
But we're giving real answers.
Very good answers. And let me tell you, some of the smartest people in the world are comedians, right? Because you look at things in a completely different way. As Rick has shown us, he could easily pass for a psychologist in a heartbeat, right? Because one, he even looks like one. You look like a psychologist that I would want to talk to, right?
I want to tell him all my problems.
He opens you up. He looks like, if I was having problems with my wife, I would go to Rick. Rick looks like he could help me. I would never go to the two of you guys. Okay? You guys are never getting... Rick?
We're going to do something a little different. I'm going to mix up some mud, and you're going to wrestle while I nurse this brandy snifter.
And the fact that you even know what a brandy snifter is fantastic as well. We're just dating ourselves. Have yourself a Tom Collins. I'll be right back. Let me let me take our next problem. What do we got? Okay. Oh, here's a Karen from Fort Wayne. Let's see if she's a Karen. I'm sick and tired. I mean, sick and tired of people using my name as negative slang. Here you go. Not sure who started this, but I would love to kick his or her teeth out or in. I guess they would go in, Karen. You've obviously never kicked anybody, but when you kick somebody, whatever you kick goes in. It goes in. The teeth go inwards. If you get kicked in the gajones, right, the balls go inwards. Everything goes inwards. You punch somebody in the stomach, it goes in, Karen. That being said, I mean, is it fair? I'll start with you, Louis. Is it fair that we've used the word Karen as like this derogatory? You actually used it already one time. Is it fair to Karen?
You just read that question and still want to ask me that question.
Right.
Wow. I'm going to say I rest my case.
Yeah.
This is a Karen. This is a Karen complaining already.
Right. Karen, you can't either call in or send in anything into a show acting like a Karen and ask, is it fair that your name is being associated with Karens? It's not
just because I kill people and my last name's Manson. Everybody makes.
That's a good point, Louis. You nailed it. Mike, is it fair? Is it fair, Mike?
I don't know if I'm exactly 100% up on the reasons why the Karen is what.
Can we explain? This to Mike?
Hit it to me again.
So this Karen was an actual real person, and she was sitting. I can't remember. Was in a parking lot, right, guys? Refresh my memory. I can't remember now because she was in a parking lot, and literally a black man was just standing around or in a car, and she felt intimidated just because of the presence, and ended up calling the police on this man who was doing absolutely nothing. And then it became this. Everybody saw it. It went viral, rightfully so. It was this, of course, very scared white woman who became known as Karen, and she was being Karen-esque. And the Karen symbolized, the whole racial divide that's going on, and how she couldn't leave this poor black man alone.
Was she the girl in Central Park, and the guy was watching the birds?
There you go.
Her name was Karen?
That's right. That's the right one. Now, mind you, my example actually happened as well. It was another woman that's exactly same deal. But yes, you're absolutely right, Mike. You are on the ball now. That is the Karen. What do you think?
Yeah, well, I have to give it to them then, because it's almost like you calling somebody a pussy because they're an idiot or they did something stupid.
Right.
And then you could say that to somebody else.
So in your
example, they just got caught up with the person's name.
Right. But in your example, then, if my name was Pussy, I should be really offended by that, right? Because we're okay.
Not really.
Right.
Not really, because you could twist it around. You could say like this, and my name is Karen, but I'm not a Karen.
Right. Good point. That's a good point, Mike. Yeah. So you could spin it back around. Rick, you're nodding your approval there. What does the psychologist think?
Well, I'll ask later, but until then, here's what I think. I think Karen, stop calling attention to it.
Right.
Jesus Christ, if there was ever a fight to stay out of, stay the fuck out of this. Shut the fuck up. Stop drawing the neon sign to it's me, it's actually me. You could just say, oh, I don't let that, because this stuff blows over. When was the last time you heard the word in the news? It was just starting to go away, and they keep pulling it back.
They keep pulling me back. That's right.
Hey, you know what? There's another Karen that made a big, stupid Karen move, and it's going to last a lifetime, and it was in a movie called Goodfellas. When Karen took the cocaine and flushed it down the toilet, and he said to her, Karen, that's all we had.
So maybe it's just, that's it. Maybe that name is associated with just like, I don't know, dumbasses.
Yes.
And maybe that's why. And by the way, Karen.
That's the word, dumbass.
Dumbasses. Karen, what about if your name was John? Now, you've been called, I'm going to the John. That's been around forever. How do you think John feels? You think you're the only one, Karen? My name is Frank. Do you know how many times people make fun of that? To be Frank, ha ha ha. Or it happens.
And people that buy escorts are called Johns.
Right. How do you feel if you're John? Right? Or Dick.
Oh,
that was me.
Right?
As a kid. That's the one I always heard as a kid.
Exactly. And at least your last name wasn't Johnson. What a great name to be Dick Johnson.
Yeah,
there is somebody. I think isn't a race car driver with the double Dick name?
In San Francisco.
Dick Trickle.
Dick Trickle. That's right. Dick, good call. You're a NASCAR fan, Louis, are you?
I'm living in Georgia.
There you go.
The
there
code.
you go. Dick Trickle. That's right.
We got to bring back, I've been trying to bring back some names from the 80s.
Give it to me.
Because now we can't say what we're supposed to. You guys remember good things, like you called your friend a douchebag. That was nice.
You can't say it anymore. No, you cannot say it. There's so many things you cannot say or do.
Asshole, jerk off, good things.
I'll give you a real.
You can't say douchebag because nobody knows what it is.
Right, that's exactly right. Yeah.
Neither did I when I said it.
Right, exactly. But I'll tell you, no, obviously we know this as comedians that the world has changed. My son was citing just today. He was talking, they just started replaying Looney Tunes, and he goes, "Ooh, the stuttering pig." And I went, there's a character that would never come out today. You would never be able to have Porky Pig anymore. Can you imagine a children's cartoon today coming out with somebody who stutters? It would never happen. It's completely
Foghorn Leghorn is basically a plantation owner.
Exactly. Absolutely. Never, ever happen. Now, the violence has stayed, right? We used to think our cartoons were violent. Nothing compared to what they have now. But those traits will never come back. You're never going to have anybody like that. It's incredible. But I digress. Great job, everybody. Way to stick it to Karen. Sorry, Karen, but you lost that one. We all dislike you. My apologies. Good job, everybody. Let's see what else we got. What else we got up there? Oh, wow. Marcus. Oh, Huntington Beach. She's near you over there. I kind of, sort of, made a bet with my 3 siblings over Thanksgiving. They were giving me crap about the pandemic pounds I packed on. So I told them I would lose 20 pounds by Christmas. Not sure how I'm going to pull this off, but if I do, they each owe me $1,000. If I don't, I have to sleep in a tent in our parents' backyard for the entire week of Christmas. Don't ever make bets when high. Just saying. Well, I'm not sure this is a problem. Either way, it sounds like you used the pandemic to get fat and happy, which is okay. I think that's perfectly okay. And you're high as you write this text or email. I don't know what the problem is. Rick, you ever just not give a shit and just sit around?
Very natural process. It's called hibernation. H-I-G-H, P-E-R-N-A-O-N. And what it is when it looks like it's going to be a long, protracted winter in your existence, you get really high and you pack on food to build up weight, and then you find someone's house and you crash there. And you just stay asleep till the crisis is over.
Right.
Someone shakes you and goes, the crisis is over. Get the fuck off my sofa. And then you're back to life again.
It explains your backdrop now. I completely get where you are now. This makes perfect sense. I love this.
See right here. Yes. My bookshelf.
Yes, it's beautiful. If only we could work on that green screen replacement. I think it'll be great. You can put whatever the hell you want.
What are you talking about? Ha ha ha. Ha, piece of shit.
Louis, you enjoy the food? You enjoy getting high? Do you ever partake in either of those two habitual things?
I'm going to plead the fifth on that.
Okay. Yeah, I figured you would.
And I'm going to say, yes, you're gaining weight because it's a pandemic and you're just eating and doing drugs. I say the answer is easy. Easy pleasy.
Yeah.
You've got the wrong drug. Now,
Oh.
opioids will take 30 pounds off you like that. I'm talking, you will be ripped by Christmas. You're going to be able to slide right through an air vent. Believe me,
Oh,
I
man.
know that.
That's a first. We have now advocated hookers and heroin in the same show. This is fantastic.
Or something prescription.
It's a holiday
You have to go
show.
all-
Right, exactly. Yeah, so it doesn't have to be heroin. It could be hydromorphone. It could be fentanyl. We're good. Either way, no discrimination. Try them all. Try them all. Mike, you ever just sat back and went, you know what? Who gives a shit? Let me eat a bunch of cannoli. Do you ever have those times in your life?
No, because I really don't like cannolis.
Oh, all right, my bad. Sorry,
No.
I picked the wrong thing.
But I get stoned every night,
Found the
and I
only
go,
Italian doesn't like cannolis.
No, I really don't like cannolis. They're not that good. Nobody really likes cannolis, that pastry bullshit. I like going to Dunkin' Donuts. That's my goal.
Is that right?
Yeah.
You like the Dunkin'?
I'm going to smoke some weed when this show's over, and then I'm going to Dunkin' Donuts. They got a drive-through. It's not too far from here. They got Maplewood baked bacon on an egg sandwich with a croissant. It's absolutely delicious. Makes you feel good about yourself. But if somebody said to me, I'll give you $3,000 if you lose 20 pounds by Christmas,
right.
I'd call up Mr. Ramey there and see if I couldn't find out where to get those opioids. Because one thing, I'd like to have a six-pack. I haven't had a six-pack in a long, long time.
Oh, man. Wouldn't you?
And I wouldn't mind $3,000.
You know why it's so hard to get a six-pack? Because it's really hard to get a six-pack. It takes a lot of work, right? Like, it takes a lot of commitment. You have to really, do things like exercise a lot and target it, and then you can't eat certain things. It's a very difficult process. Right, exactly. Or heroin.
Rather than the six-pack, I'm going with the keg, just for economy.
Right, exactly. It saves you money.
Keg, baby.
Oh gosh, we're on the road to success here.
I would love to have a six-pack. I would love to look like I'm 23 years old and ripped.
Yeah.
But every time I think about what I got to do it, I usually have a joint in my hand.
Right, right. It's very difficult to be as disciplined as you were when you were a kid, right? Because things take longer. I remember, you guys know who Lou Ferrigno is, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Lou Ferrigno, for those of you at home, the Incredible Hulk, also Mr. Universe, met multiple times. He said that as he got older, right, when he got over 40, it took him 3 times as long to get into the shape he needed to get into for his competitions. If Lou Ferrigno is complaining and it takes him 3 times as long, and that's all he does, how long is it going to take a guy who has the body of a 13-year-old girl like me in the wrong places to get into shape? It's going to take forever. I just don't have that time or commitment level.
Don't be a Karen, Frank.
Sorry.
Wait, so you're saying you don't have the commitment level to get your body to look like Lou Ferrigno?
No, I
don't
don't
agree.
I don't have the commitment level to get even remotely a six-pack is what I'm saying.
I
don't.
Okay.
Yeah, because that takes losing weight.
You got to take it one beer at a time.
Is that what it is? Okay.
Yeah, start with the 1-pack and then build.
Yes.
Oh, God. Well, thank you, Karen. And thank you, all of you so far. You guys have been great. Let's help a few more people. What else we got up here? Let's see. Okay. Douglas from Miramar, Florida. What severely irritates me? Douglas apparently asks himself. Sports journalists and broadcasters giving their opinions. If you never played or coached in the pros, you have no right to speak about those who do. So shut up. Thank you. Douglas from Miramar doesn't believe that journalists and broadcasters should be able to speak on sports if they never actually played or coached the game. Rick, you're nodding because Rick's been playing a psychologist this entire time, and I know he never went to school for it. Rick, how do you feel about somebody telling you can't talk about something because you don't have the experience?
Well, I'm afraid I'm not able to speak on that because I had to sign a form. I'm not allowed to say how I really feel about this because I need to keep my job, because without this job and this guy's
Right.
this man I just have to keep the job. So really, they're great. They're a great team to work for, and I really feel like I have a lot of promotion ahead of me with this group of people with whom I may not always agree, but I'm not saying I disagree.
I'm not sure Rick answered the question at all, but it sounded really good, Rick. Way to be completely
NDA.
Yes. Way to tread lightly. Louis, do you follow sports? Are you a sports fan?
Not really.
That's a no. Yeah. Whenever you start the answer with that's a no. It's okay to say no. Not everybody has to follow sports.
I like Sports Center.
You do like Sports Center. You do watch it. Okay. So how do you feel about watching, like, since we're talking about Sports Center, somebody like a Scott Van Pelt talk about things when you didn't coach in the league and probably didn't play professionally? I'm not sure if he did or not. How do you feel about that? You okay with it?
I think that's the way the universe works. Those that don't teach.
Right.
Should we all be able to criticize which is our best porn if we've never actually done one? That's the way the world works. You're supposed to be able to talk about anything.
All right. So you're saying you should be able to give your opinion on any porn you watch, which in turn means any broadcaster or sports journalist should be able to talk about whatever they want.
Absolutely. And the world needs nerds. If Sports Center only had professional athletes, first the show would last twice as long, and I wouldn't be able to understand it probably.
Right. And to be honest with you, anytime I hear I'm not saying all, but anytime I hear athletes talk about sports, I always feel like it's a little too inside. Like they understand it from another level that nobody cares about because they're right. Yeah. It's kind of always, and it's always a similar thing. It's like, they had to be more aggressive. They had to make sure that they executed the plays. It's kind of boring.
Yeah, you got to move the chain.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you got to take it a step at a time, only good as your last play, blah, blah, blah. Whereas the nerdy broadcasters, they get into analytics, they get into all these other things that you kind of make it interesting.
They make the numbers entertaining.
Right. And they're usually good personalities too, which they can draw you in. Yeah, that's a good point. Mike, you enjoy sports? You like sports, Mike?
Yeah, I enjoy sports, and I think when some of the athletes do commentate on the show or the game, they're usually on point. Like even when you watch Joe Rogan and he's talking about the MMA, he knows everything about it. He actually makes it very exciting when he's calling the fight, and he knows everybody's move and what they're doing. But then on the other note, this guy's side over here, there is always somebody that makes a comment about, let's say, the way a game was played that you really feel like saying, come on, man, you probably never even picked up a ball.
Right.
Same with comedians, somebody will critique a comedy show. They'd be like, man, you never told a joke in your life. How do you know what's good and what's bad?
Right.
But that is life. Like Louis was saying, there's always going to be somebody that's going to make a comment about something. And that's just the way it's going to be. Especially like critics when they criticize a movie and you feel like going, man, did you actually watch it?
And even if you did watch it, critics are always the worst to me because how do you know what I like? Right. Like who are you to write and say, it's a B-? It may not be at all. I may really like this type of movie. You may hate it. Who the hell are you?
Yeah.
A lot of critics. How many times have you seen a review for a movie that goes, it's the funniest and your favorite film of the summer.
Right.
And it's still springtime.
Right. And
reloading your own opinion.
Yeah. And it's never the funniest and it's never the favorite. It never has been. Yeah, never has been. But, I'll get back to sports for 1 second. Usually, there is a commentator and a color guy, right?
Right.
And I think there's room for both. I think you got the one guy. I think the perfect example is those dog shows. We just saw it on Thanksgiving. You got one guy who knows all the stuff, and the other guy who just talks in a beautiful voice and kind of lures you in a little bit, and then he sends it off to his partner who knows everything. I think that works for me. I like it. I don't like everybody to know everything. Otherwise, there's no balance.
Yes.
Right? You need a dumbass, again, right, Mike? You need a dumbass everywhere you go. A well-spoken, high-end, with just a little bit of good, okay English to take that spot. And then you need the color person. I think Mike
Karen.
High-end, okay speaking, prostitute
Karen.
once, and then a color commentator. I think we solved it. Good job. I think we got time for one more. This show's going by quick. You guys are great. This is great. Here we go. Mimi from Brideport, Connecticut. She cannot even spell Bridgeport. She put Brideport. And it's, I'm sure that's my producers. I'm sorry, guys. I didn't mean to call you out, but it's Bridgeport. Unless there's a Brideport. I don't think there is. The world was a much better place before social media. Okay. All it has done is give a platform. Oh, wow. Look at this. There's a dumbass theme in this show. All it has done is give a platform for dumbasses that shouldn't have one. On behalf of the people of the world, I can confidently say no one cares where you are or what you are doing. Mimi from Bride or Bridgeport, Connecticut says, social media sucks. Nobody cares what you think. Mike, I'm going to start with you because I've left you to the end a couple times. You're big on social media. I know that. Mike is always on. He's one of the best comics for getting. He's got a great show, which we'll talk about later. He's good on social. Do you think social media has ruined our world, Mike?
Yes, absolutely.
Yep.
We need to bring back the 80s. Nobody knew where you were or what you were doing, and you were having fun. They found out later.
Right.
Social media has really ruined a lot of things because everything gets filmed.
Yeah.
And even for entertainers, yes, it helps us a little bit because we're in the market and we want everybody to see our work. But I'll even ask these two fellow comedians, you do something fantastic and 1,000 people say great. And then some knucklehead rides his skateboard into a brick wall and 5 million people think it's phenomenal.
Yeah.
So yes, social media has ruined everything.
Well, we've learned that. If you just tell your jokes and you drink an Ocean Spray, you can become huge, apparently. I don't know if you guys saw that viral video, but it was just a guy skateboarding. It was a great story, don't get me wrong. His car broke down. He didn't want to be late for work. He skateboarded to work, listening to a Fleetwood Mac song, drinking Ocean Spray. 5 billion people saw it. Ocean Spray gave him a new truck and Ocean Spray Cranberry for life, and the guy is on every talk show. It's fantastic. It makes you want to quit the business is what it makes you want to do. Okay? Because I can guarantee you 40 people might watch this show, and he got 5 billion people to watch him drink a cranberry. I digress again. I'm with you, Mike. Social media sucks, but
social media can also depress you. When I go on Facebook, I'm like, am I having fun? Or is this the obituary? You start reading about all these people that are not around anymore, people getting kidnapped, bad things happen in the news. It's a constant reminder of shit.
Yeah. I have another theory. I'm going to tell you. I want to let you guys answer first, but I think you'll probably agree. But let's go, Rick. What do you say to social media? You got on the social media?
It's a double-edged sword, you know. Because of it, certain things have socially changed for the better. Not everything, but some things have. Yeah. And you're gonna get idiots. You know, idiots used to write books. We just never. Right. People have created art, but we didn't buy it. Now there's no buying it because it's all free anyway. We don't realize this. Social media is wiping out the arts in the sense it's no longer exclusive, and you have to go someplace to see it. And to reorganize how to monetize all this is going to take forever. That being said, certain social things can be changed with it, where it's at the point of this is the musket of the 21st century.
Wow.
If you have someone who was messing with you in any way, it's not a gun anymore. It's not bang. It's send, motherfucker. Send. And you're fired. Your whole world gets down.
Yeah.
So it has a good and a bad side. Everything has a good and a bad side. And we have to weed through the idiots here. And it's never supposed to be some authority's job to do that. Remember this part. It's always your job to figure it out. There's something wrong with you that you couldn't figure it out on your own. Fix you.
That's a good point. Louis, what do you say to this?
I see the positive side of it. I mean, my dad once told me that the day you graduate from high school is the day you will never see 90% of these people again.
Right.
And it was true before social media.
Yeah.
I mean, you graduated from high school, and if you didn't grab somebody's number or something like that, they were gone forever. And you never saw them again. And you know what? I like today's technology because I remember how crappy the past technology, like beepers. Imagine trying to get work done with a beeper.
Hey, we did it, man. We did it. Doctors did it. We all did it. Actors did it. You know, we did it. But
what was those things that a Palm Pilot?
Palm Pilots, yeah.
Just for your addresses.
Yeah. Crazy. It's crazy what we got used to. No, I'm with you. We went through those phases quick though, didn't we? I mean, those weren't there for that long, and all of a sudden it was just like we were constantly trying to improve. We finally got it right. But what social media did was it changed, I think, for comedians and for everything, events, right? It changed your making things an event. Like you come out with a great bit. Give you an example. You put out a great bit. Everybody, it's out in social media. You got to write more material over and over. It used to be you could tour the country with it. Nobody saw it. They'd have to come and go to see it to be able to see the new special or the new hour that you got or the new 15 minutes you got. But now you throw it up on YouTube because you have to. You want to throw it to all social media, and it's gone. And I think it's happened the same thing with everything. There's no event television anymore. There's nothing to wait for or hope for because we're getting it bam like that all the time, and it's not always great. You know, it's saturated and is what it is. But hey, we sound old. Great job, you guys, today. I guarantee you my camera is going to putz out on me in a few seconds. So if I'm giving you the reins, I'm going to give it to Mike. If things go south on me, you're ending the show today, Mike. So just thank everybody. But in the meantime, let's talk about you guys. I know it's COVID. I know there's not much happening. You got anything you want to plug? Give us your website. Give us everything. Rick, what do you got going on?
At Rick Overton on Twitter and, IMDb and whatnot. And just taking it day by day.
Yeah, that's all we can do.
Yes.
That's all we can do, baby. I get you. Louis, what do you got happening? Anything?
Well, I got a project with Fox and CBS together, and
nice.
For a new show next year. I'm just gonna leave it at that, but chances are it goes into production in April.
Very good, man. Congratulations, my friend.
That's
awesome news. As a writer and producer myself, congratulations. Very well done. Mike, what you got going on, buddy? What's happening?
Well, I'm hoping to go back out on tour, but right now everything about me is on MikeMarino.net. My YouTube channel is at Mike Marino Live. And tomorrow night at 8 o'clock, I'll be doing my podcast live from my mother's basement. And it looks like we lost the host of tonight's show because his battery went out or something like that. So I would like to thank everybody for watching tonight's show, Comedy Doctors. A nice shout out to Rick Overton. Thank you very much for being on the show. Louis Ramey, thank you for being on the show. And of course, the host, Frank Licari. He was absolutely fantastic. My name is Mike Marino. Everybody, thank you and good night.
Good night.
Thanks.